Hey, what's going on everybody? Justin here, and today I have a great Rebrickable model from the set of the Classic Defender brought to us by Lego, and that is set number 10317, which has 2,336 pieces. Now this set retails for $240, which is a ton. Especially if you're going to do a Rebrickable model with a set. Retail price is kind of something I try to steer away from, but I was able to find this at Target for $120, and multiple other people have as well. So I would check your local Targets if you are interested in building this model, or if you just want to get the Classic Defender. But today we are going to look specifically at the HUMVEE. And now this can be found on Rebrickable.com by the builder and designer of M_Longer. And I think it's great. It uses about 1,900 of the 2,300 pieces. Now, while that sounds like a lot of leftover pieces, this one itself also has leftover pieces because there's another model of the Defender that you can build that has a different engine and stuff like that. So you even get leftover pieces with this set still. I'm not going to say it's upwards of 400, but I would say maybe around 100 or so anyways. So I think that this HUMVEE is absolutely spectacular. So today we're going to look a little closer at this HUMVEE. And if you like the way that sounds, please like and subscribe to this video, and let's go ahead and take a dive in. Now, first up, in terms of size, width-wise, the HUMVEE is a tiny bit bigger, maybe, especially when you have all of this stuff coming off the sides. But in terms of the vehicle itself, the HUMVEE is a little bit more wide. And in terms of length of the vehicle, now trying to put them side by side, it's basically spot on, which I think is perfect, because when you're trying to put this on, say, a smaller Billy bookshelf, or place it where most icon scaled vehicles go, the HUMVEE fits perfectly. Height-wise, obviously the Defender is a little bit higher, so depending on your height limitations in your build or in your displays, maybe the HUMVEE displays a little better in that sense. But in terms of overall size, they're basically the same with how you're going to display them. But yeah, overall, absolutely great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a closer look at the HUMVEE and just see what kind of details they give us on this. So looking at the design of this HUMVEE, it is absolutely amazing. I don't think design-wise there's any fault or flaws that I'm going to give it. This is representative of a HUMVEE pre-2005, when they would have had the protection for the turret gunner. And the main reason for that is just, I'm guessing the pieces aren't in this set to create something that would look good. And if you look up those images of what the protection looks like, the angles and the piece usage would be very difficult, at least for me. I'm sure somebody could absolutely do it, and I hope somebody does, and I'd add it onto this for sure. But as far as a design, this thing is spot on. If you want to have a fault with this, my only fault with this, and this is not because of the designer, it's simply because these are the pieces that you're given with the Defender, and that is the colors of the gray and the tan. On a HUMVEE, you're not going to have these kind of stripes going up and around like that. It's either going to be all green, all tan, or some type of camo colored, depending on what kind of HUMVEE you're going for. But overall, I think that the designer used the pieces incredibly well. The hood has the hood straps, and that are these big rubber pieces that you would take off and lift up the hood. You have the spare tire with the gas can on the back, which absolutely you're going to have used those many times. On the top, you have the 50 cal, and that is probably one of the more common used kind of weapons for HUMVEEs or certain vehicles, MRAPs and things like that. As you start to get bigger, besides a Mark 19, you could have maybe a smaller gun, but you're probably going to be using the 50 cal. He used the sights really well, the pieces to build the sights, the handles, and with where you would be holding the 50 cal and you have the butterfly trigger. That's perfect. Everything about this is absolutely great. It does move, so that's really cool. And you can angle it up, angle it down, do whatever you need to do. If you're playing with this, maybe throw a G.I. Joe in there if you want. But overall, absolutely spot on. Now, what does open is the back. And now if you wanted to, you can put the bar down, because it does hold itself up like so. Now, you don't need to put this bar down. It does a very good job just holding itself up. But if you wanted to, just for look wise, you can slot it in there, or you can just have it, open it up all the way, close it. Looks absolutely great. Love this. The doors do open, which is great. Very functional. No issues with the doors. They do go on a little flimsy at first, but then once you start putting in some of the other pieces, it kind of locks everything in together. So as far as a Rebrickable model, this thing is very, very sturdy. It's not falling apart. You can just kind of bounce it around. It looks great. If you wanted to play with this, it does have independent suspension, so even better. The doors opening, just absolutely great. Looking inside, I mean, there's nothing too spectacular going on, and anybody who's been in the military and been in a Humvee knows you're not going to get your fancy stuff in here. It's pretty basic interiors as far as Humvees go in the military. You do, though, in the backside, which I think is really cool. As you can see, it looks a little cluttered in there, but that's just the gunner seat. And I'll try to give a top-down view of the gunner seat in there. You can kind of see it where that 2x2 brown plate is on top of the black. That's absolutely true. When you're riding around in there, the back, everybody in the back and in the front, you kind of have this guy's legs and ass kind of just sitting there, swiveling around, depending on what you're doing. And that's absolutely representative. You hand drinks, do things like that. So overall, absolutely amazing. This brings back a ton of memories for me of riding around, and specifically Iraq with the Humvee, and being a gunner, being a driver, being in all of the different seats I've been able to kind of spend time in the military. I think this thing is just absolutely amazing. And since Lego is never, ever, ever going to give us this, I am so happy to have found the Defender for half off, and somebody who made such an amazing model. And again, this thing is just really fun and just great to just put together. Nothing was overly complicated. It almost seems like it was far more involved than building the Defender was. But once you get through all the Technic portion, that kind of lines the bottom and kind of gets in all of that stuff done, so you can have the suspension and you can have everything working and moving. It's absolutely great. You do on the back have in here the Hand of God steering. Now it is a little tight. It is a little difficult to use, but as you can see, it does work. And so you can do what you need to do with just the Hand of God steering. It's just smaller than some of the other Technic vehicles maybe that you would find. But overall, absolutely amazing. The steering wheel does move as well, and it's just great. You can see that the engine does turn in here, like, well, Technic pieces are turning with the steering wheel moving. Again, zero complaints about this set. So overall, I give this a 10 out of 10 for any Rebrickable model that I've done, along with the Castle Bed and Breakfast in the GTO. Those are two of the other better models for Rebrickables I've done, but this one, M. Longer, you did a fantastic job, and I absolutely love this, and I can't wait to either put it on my shelf or put it with some of my military stuff, because this thing is just one of my favorite models yet. So there you have it. This set is amazing. I have such a connection to this vehicle. I have spent many, many hours sitting in certainly different seats of this as a gunner, as just a passenger, as a driver. Spent nights where out in the desert, you're just kind of sleeping here with a sleeping bag. And yeah, this thing is absolutely amazing, and I love it. And there's so much of a connection to this vehicle for myself personally. Absolutely just spot on job by the designer. And I appreciate that somebody took the time to take a vehicle and give us something that Lego will never give us. Lego is never going to make this. Ever, ever, ever. Because it's a Humvee and it has military ties, obviously. Just kind of like the Osprey that they did not want to give us, which I also have a connection to and spent time doing different missions in Iraq with. So I wish that we would get more military vehicles. I understand Lego's never going to do it, but this thing's amazing. And if you do want something different and you do like the Humvee like I do, even if you don't like the military aspect of it, you can cover the roof off, take the 50 cal off, do whatever you want to do. But the set's amazing, and just the sturdiness of it and the ability to just kind of actually play with it is great. So yeah, that's basically everything that this Humvee has to offer. Thank you again for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any comments or suggestions or anything you ever want to see, please let me know down in the comments. I appreciate and enjoy talking with all of you, and I hope you all have a great week. Thank you.